credit to them. They had a great plan, and they have great players, and they made a lot of plays today.
How disruptive was that to what you guys were doing today?
Yeah, I mean, just when they're playing the man-type coverages, trying to get some guys open down the field, and they did a good job of pushing the pocket. So I got to be better at working the pocket, finding different lanes to step up through. But when I was able to, we were able to hit some shots down the field, but it's just got to be more consistent with that.
Take us through 4th and 17 and sort of what you felt the flow of the game was after you guys converted that.
Yeah, I mean, big play, obviously, getting that. Getting into the end zone on that drive on the 4th and 1 as well. So coach just trusted us, man. We're kind of in that range where it was too long of a field goal, but there was no reason to really punt. So, I mean, coach gave us a chance, and guys, Rashid did a great job getting open in like the last window. So big play, but obviously we didn't capitalize on the momentum of that play.
What's sort of just your overriding takeaway from this game, and especially sort of as you go into the bye week? I mean, how do you sort of look at things overall?
Yeah, I mean, we've had great moments, we've had bad moments. We got to be more consistent as a team. I got to be more consistent at quarterback, and we got to be able to battle. I mean, we've kind of been in a lot of these tight, close games in our history, but they're not going our way now. So how can we deal with that adversity? How can we be better and learn from it? I mean, you only learn from so many losses. I mean, you gotta learn from it fast.
What did you make? He talked about the game plan they had against them. Harrison, Kentucky cornerback, who you were a big fan of coming out.
Yep.
He talked about how a lot of what he did in this game was just looking at Xavier Worthy's body language. He knew when he was going to get a ball. He knew when the play was coming to him. He knew when it was going to be a run play. He said he could read everything from Xavier Worthy's body language, all from film study, as well as their other cornerback. The guy's name was Bishop, I think. He said the same deal. He said he said a lot of what he did in the game was based on film study and what he kind of saw. He said there's multiple plays where he just knew right away what we were running just based on film study. What does that tell you when teams can just read what you're doing just based on film studies? Is that just not changing up from week to week? Is it more? Should there be more window dressing, or I mean, what is that? When a team can just read what you're doing based on film study, what does that tell you? Is that you're just kind of running the same old stuff, or not enough window dressing involved?
No, it's just a route combination. So we have tendencies. There's certain plays that we like. And somebody said something that, like, is there a little bit of arrogance there? Absolutely. So, we're good for a reason. We got some really good receivers. But there is something that you find out about tendencies and body language. And I could see that. There were certain plays that I watched, okay? And I was like, this guy's not running hard. One of them was Rashid Rice. It was I was like, hey, you're not even looking to try to get the ball. This ain't no go route. And I get sometimes, with the type of offense that we do run, where guys are trying to find windows to get open and whatnot, you can get into a place where you're fooling the quarterback. You don't quite know what you're going to do. And Patrick's trying to run him around and get, make things happen. Well, they had a spy on him, 42. I mean, he's just sitting there the whole time. And he was going to run around Creed Humphrey, and as soon as he just started mirroring Pat. So, Pat's like, bouncing out of the pocket. He was right there in his face. And so it was the same thing. It's like, hey, man, you keep him in the pocket. Once Pat takes off, you be right there with him. And so that's all he did. It was a good game plan. It was solid. So they had 3 guys, maybe 4, trying to, pressure Pat, get home. Pat takes off running, 42 right there in his face. You just be right there. That's what you do. So it's disrupting timing. That's what goes on. And so what you do is you have other guys that they were running man. They played a lot of zone. They were disguising the coverage. But, for them, they're like, yeah, we know this. We see this combination, 3-by-1 or 3-by-3. Sometimes we run all in the area. We flood certain areas. The guys are sitting there like, hey, we'll just sit over here in this area too. Make it for a tighter window for Pat to get the ball to. Especially if it's third down and something else, it's even worse. It's even harder. So that's what they were playing for. You get third and long into those things, then we have a much better chance. We have a much better chance. You know why they're getting third down and long, Marcus? Because we're going to run the football.
And it's no excuse when you have a running back like Kareem Hunt. I know people say, oh, he's not an explosive guy, but he's getting you 1 to 3 yards every time. First down, run it with him. You're getting 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7 at least. But when you pass the ball, these 10-step dropbacks, I mean that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to show the clip from Bishop. Somebody from the Bills Twitter kind of put up this interesting kind of graphic here or a video here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna blow that up.
The one-on-one motions on the third down, just kind of film study, saw a play versus Chargers where he spit it out there pretty quick. So being able to know that he's potentially going to throw that ball, and then just chasing the motion, being able to anticipate that the ball might go there, and just get downhill on it. Guys were saying that maybe if I got my head back, that's an interception opportunity, but just running after the man and hopefully maybe get your head back next time.
Yep. You got tendencies, man. I mean, that's why you do film study. They have tendencies and things that we like to run. And so teams are not fooled by it. You could dress it up. You could do some window dressing, but I think you got to do a little bit more than what we just did. Okay? You got to get a little bit more clever if you want to get the matchup that you want. But even then, hey, guess what? Let's run a different route combination than that. Okay? They're pointing to him. Oh, we said, now you take off. Well, shoot, you could run a corner route on this guy and get beat. You're expecting it. Shoot, double move that right there. Do the juke route. So but that's absolutely. I can tell because when I was looking at the route combination, I'm just like, hey, shoot, they ain't got to move. Why? Because
they weren't moved by it in multiple facets of it. No. Michael Kittle, don't you need to change up plays at times so they can't catch on?
You have to. You got to. So you're not, like I said, the tail is not so predictable. You have to change it up. Yeah, I got to make it look different. How about when you do that, run the football? So, but guys, man, I'm telling you, like, stretching the defense in a lot of different ways. You know what we haven't ran? You know we ran, Marcus? We haven't ran mesh a lot. The shallow crosses as much after that first.
I was going to say, you think that's a reason because there's still an injury?
Could. Because week after that, then, Travis went to try to get one and for Hollywood Brown, and we didn't get the first down because we didn't pick the right way. But there's no reason to completely get away from that play. There's just none whatsoever. We run a lot of pick plays and stuff like that. We do an amazing job of that. But if teams are thinking in your head, like they're in your head now, okay, about what you're going to run. And they were just sitting there and they were just trusting it. And like I said, McDermott knows Andy knows. He knows him. Come on, man. Just saying we ain't going against, a guy that hadn't seen Andy, played, coach with him. I mean, shoot. So.
Yeah, it's funny, right? That you have Worthy's freak injury on that play. And we haven't run rub routes since then, right? And then Patrick Mahomes' freak injury on a QB sneak. We don't run QB sneaks. Not to say I don't think we need to run them. I think we have the better of that with Kareem Hunt's short yardage carries. But still, though, just interesting. The two freak injuries are the reason why we're kind of, snake bitten, and we don't want to run those plays anymore. So it seems like.
So, Pono, this is the problem. Please, people excuse Andy's faults because the Super Bowl wins. Nope, nobody's excusing his faults. Look, guys are going to get beat. And so if of a better coach that could come in to do a much better job, hey, let's have it.
Let me ask you this, because on the same vein of this, I'm not saying to get rid of Andy Reid and whatnot, but would it be? I know he likes hiring, and all coaches like hiring guys that they know and right, like guys who are under their umbrella, their tree, like the Doug Petersons, Nagy, EB, all those guys. What if, say, in the offseason, right, we bring in? I'm not saying bring in this guy, but like a Cliff Kingsbury type, another offensive mind, someone who's who's bringing a little different spice of offense to the staff instead of the same old guys who all come from that same Andy Reid system. It's just kind of a newish kind of realm to the offense. Just to spice it up a little bit. What do you make of that? What will be the pros and cons of doing that?
I mean, you can spice it up a little bit, but what does that spice look like? Okay, is that a better spice for your pot? Is what you're really asking,
right?
Right? I mean, seriously, and you don't quite know that. I mean, you're just going to be taking a chance and a gander on it. That's what you're going to be doing. Okay, so what we have seen is, is there some things that Andy needs to do more of? Yes, the run, absolutely. Do we excuse what is he above criticism? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But there's a reason why we have won 3 Super Bowls with Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, those guys have been doing really well. Tyreek Hill went down there to South Beach. Now he hurt, frustrated, not winning. We paying all these other jokers around here $55 million, all these other quarterbacks, that getting paid 60. How many jokers been into the championship, Marcus?
No, not a lot of them. You can only count with one hand how many guys who are currently coaches in the league who have been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, McVay, Zach Taylor's been to a Super Bowl. I mean, the guy who's beat us, McDermott, hasn't been to one.
Yeah.
Harbaugh. Not many.
Not many. He just happened to incorporate running the football more. Now, when I'm saying this, adapting to certain things, I totally agree. And I think it does a good job adapting. We seen that last year. We were successful last year, because we did adapt. When we didn't, guess what? Because we didn't have Rashee Rice. We didn't have Hollywood Brown. We were down guys, weren't we, Marcus? Did we adapt? Sure did.
Yeah. A 5-game span or 4-game span where Kareem had 20+ carries in those games. We had nobody. It was Kareem and Juju in those games.
Yeah. That's adapt for your tail right there. So Andy could do it. He can. And I think, this was like one of those okay, hey, we probably need to make an adjustment at the half. We didn't. They didn't do enough of it. Still looking for their tendencies, right? We're looking at their tendencies too. But also, too, I think it's easier to kind of adapt on defense than it is on offense. Why? Because you run more plays. There's more plays to run. Defense, you can line guys up. You can. Everybody knows coverages. Cover 1, 2, 0, 3, 4, combination coverages. Guys could do all those different things, okay? Getting away from all the complex blitzes and stuff, okay? You can play it to where you can still have a good defense being basic or goal line defense. You could do all those things. If guys know their assignment, that's something that you can play because then it works on their ability. Offenses, shoot. Do I have to keep going through this? Huh? G, you see all these plays that guys have to run and this on offenses? Defensive playbooks don't look like this. They don't. Defensive playbooks don't look like that. That's why it's cerebral on the offensive side of football. And you need to do a much better job. We just didn't utilize a lot of this. So he's still going to give us a much better, combination to make plays. We are. So, but we got to go with the things that do work. We just didn't do it. What works? Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt up the middle. Yeah. Somebody grew. Come on, man. No. No. Can Cliff Kingsbury come in and do some? Sure, he'll run, some things that look exotic. Didn't work with Kyler Murray and all those guys and those suckers. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is looking like it's working out with Kyler Murray now. They benched him for Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. So, I know Cliff had, Pat, in college and stuff. Yeah, you shoot. There's some things you could possibly do. But also, too, you had to go into the strong suit of what the guys that you get here to do as well.
Yep.
Personnel matters. Personnel matters. So Cliff over there in Washington, what's Washington look like right now?
They're having a hard year with injuries.
Huh?
They're having a hard year with injuries.
Yeah, they are. But you know what other people was talking about? Like, hey, we're going to figure out Jaden Daniels too.
Yeah, I mean, even before the injuries, I mean, he looked like, a year of tape on him. Looked like the, kind of the CJ Stroud effect, right? He looked great that rookie season. Following season, you got defenses know what they're doing. They're doing the same film stuff that these guys were doing. The Bills were doing.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. I have seen, some people say if Nagy is up for some of these jobs in the offseason, like Tennessee Titans, to say he's one of the names to watch the Titans. If the Miami Dolphins do get rid of Mike McDaniels, maybe McDaniels becomes the OC next year. See, that's the I think that's the kind of stuff people are talking about, is like bringing in a different type of offensive mind to kind of mesh with the Andy Reid offensive genius. You have someone who's coming from a different kind of school of thought, and you kind of mix them together. That's where I've seen a lot of people kind of where their heads at. Replacing Andy for a new head coach is silly, but bringing in maybe a guy to replace Matt Nagy who doesn't come from the Andy Reid school of the tree, that would be the thing. And yes, Coach Dunn would be my choice.
Bring me on in, baby. Bring me on in. We can. So we look at like, okay, the games while we're 5-4, right? Why are we 5-4? And what was the issues and the problems? Okay. And you could probably dissect each and every game why we lost the game. Okay. Our line had to grow to get better. We still wasn't running the ball effectively during the first few games of the year, which we should have been doing. Defense was playing good ball, So you could go through and figure all these things out. And that's exactly what Pat was sitting there saying, like, we got to learn from these losses. And now we run out of room and space to lose. We ain't got too many, little maybes. We don't. Shoot, we definitely don't have any more of those. What's it? Golf term. What is it? Shoot.
A mulligan.
Mulligans. We ain't almost. Hey, shoot, we running out of mulligans around here now. It's tight. It is tight. So we looking at here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more games.
Getting close to midnight. Getting close to midnight.
But I see KCSN asked, how many games I said we can win all these. We can win all of them. We really can.
Yeah.
If we get to it and look just like the Bills look to film studies and say, hey, man, we got to make adjustments when we need to make adjustments. We can't be stuck in our old ways. We got to do things that's going to be able to make us put ourselves in a better position to win. The coaches got to do a much better job of making those adjustments. And I said, my money's on the team that has Super Bowl experience and playoff experience. That's where my money's on. And the coaches that belong there too. That's where my money's on, Marcus. Because somebody made this comment on Twitter like, oh, Andy's not showing his plays. Playoff. What? There's no.
I've seen so much of that today, JD.
Are you serious? Really?
So much of that.
What do you think he's saving it for? Here, I'm going to save the playoff book to the playoffs. No, look, these guys know to run the combinations. You put these things all together, certain motions. So you'll run somewhat of the same semblance of a play, okay, that looks like something else. But Andy's not sitting back with 100 plays for the playoffs, folks. He's just not. That's not how it gets done. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works.
Yeah, I literally told a guy today, the guy was like, oh, yeah, everyone forgets, but every time we play the Buffalo Bills, we always have a vanilla defense and vanilla offense. Then we get to the playoffs, it's totally different. It's like, I was like, yeah, I said, I was like, not at the risk of going 5-4. No one's doing that.
Yeah. Hey, let's not put out our best game, right? Why? Because we wait for the playoffs. What? Who's thinking that way? Every game you go into to win. Okay, you do. I just do believe that maybe this game plan, we were thinking one thing and they was giving us something else totally different, and we didn't make an adjustment because we had kind of like, a thought process we wanted to do. We didn't adjust it as well as far as saying, hey, you know what, Pat, we need to get the ball out of hand a lot quicker than what we've been doing. Okay, we got deeper routes, and I think when I looked at, I think you had Tage sent that, right? And I was counting on like, okay, how many plays from here, right? The pass rush chart, that's what it was, the passing chart.
Yep.
And I'm sitting over saying, here you got 34 passes. Okay. Look how many passes are 10 yards and under. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 out of the 34 is 10 and under, right? And you completed those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 completed. Now you got 4 of those 8 completed behind the line of scrimmage. But the telltale, Marcus, is look 10 and plus. Even 15 yards, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from 15 to 20 yards, 7 of those. And then the rest are 20-yard plus. Like we're holding the ball in the hand. Those are longer plays. Anything over 10 yards is going to require a little bit more time, right, to throw the football. It's going to be a lot more, hey, you got to get into the window, you got to get into the hole. And when I looked on film, that's exactly what I saw. I saw Pat waiting for guys to get open or combinations to work and guys get out of breaks. And we didn't have time for those things. We didn't have time for, sail routes and whatnot that we usually do. We just didn't have time for that. We didn't. We didn't take advantage of throwing the ball underneath and letting our guys run. Throw the ball to Travis Kelce. And I'm like, that's another one we didn't see. We didn't throw it to Kelce. Kelce getting the first catch with 50 seconds left in the first half that's ridiculous.
No,
it is. That's ridiculous. And it's like, why isn't he in the game plan? How come we not throwing the ball right now to Rashid Rice or getting to Xavier Worthy? It was guys that was open, okay? It was guys that was open all yesterday. We were just missing it. Hollywood Brown was open. There were some guys that was open yesterday, and I could see the frustration because we could see there was a thought process there that we just, should have did a much better job of. That leads me to my next clip. If I'm gonna send this one to you. So, but yeah, Demetrio Spencer. I've been saying that what happened to the short passing attack? It's non-existent. I mean, shoot, we look at that, like Marcus. We look at that. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right behind the line of scrimmage. And the other one's right there about the 10-yard, but we was going for the deep routes. That's what we was looking for, more of the deep balls. So we got enough guys. Xavier Worthy, we got Hollywood Brown's got 2 deep ones, beautiful. Missed him on another one. We can do it all. We got enough talent to do it all. We really do. Okay. But not to target Travis Kelce like that in the first half it was atrocious, really, and it messed with us. Because the time Trav was there. Now, everybody, the tackles, if they're getting beat, guess what? Help the guys out. Now more quicker game. Now getting the ball out of your hand. Now run the football even more. That's what you do. You run straight at the Joey Bosa. That's what you do. Run straight at those linebackers. We should have been doing more of that. You didn't. So yeah, Andy was right. Those things like that, man, it's the coach's part. That's the coach's job to get the guys in the right position to make plays. Okay. And we failed on that. We failed on it. Wide receivers. Hollywood Brown had a good game. Rasheed Rice is okay. At times we cover one, we just didn't get open. Some routes we were, a little lazy getting out of the break. Sometimes when it really a clear picture, as it should have been. And I think part of that might have been where Pat was sitting there like, okay, what we doing? What's going on with these guys? But there was times that, you did see guys weren't running hard. It went all out. Like you got to run like you got to dig like you're going to get the ball every single play. I see, our partner, man, Deshaun came in. Deshaun, you know how it is, man. You got every play's got to look like a 9 route. I learned that, man, from Charlie Joyner and Al Saunders. Every single play's got to look like a 9 route. You got to threaten the defense. You got to make them make decisions. Find places, get open, and then some of that would just say fault. But with that being said, man, I gave the wide receivers a C+.
Does the body language, what Harrison said about Worthy, does that play into the grade as well? Just the fact that Harrison could just tell by a player's body language when he was getting the ball versus when he is getting the ball. I mean, that's stuff that coaches will teach the heck out of you on that. If you're giving it away, if you're gonna get the ball or not in the play, or if it's a run play, Matt's just telling you that's telling the defender. I mean, hey, I'm just running you off on this play.
Yeah. So you still got to dig out like you're gonna get the ball. Because you might. Sure, it might come back to you. You could be the 3rd or 4th progression, but you better dig it out. You might come open all of a sudden. And I get it. Guys are trying to, hey, look, I got to save my legs and what, okay. All right. Man, at least play it off some. Let's wait, breathe hard. Dig it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot. There it is, right there. Like every route is a go route, and run every route expecting to get the ball because you had to. You should never let plays off. I'm gonna tell you one of the best receivers ever to play this game, and one of the knocks on him was he didn't dig every route out like he should have if he wasn't getting the ball. And that's Randy Moss. Jerry Rice, never. Jerry Rice was 100 miles an hour. Jerry Rice every route, he was going to catch the football. And Randy Moss knew when the ball was going to come to him. After a while, he's like, sure, I'm just going to get the ball every route.
Mm-hmm.
He just started running. That's why he started throwing his hand up like, I'm open. You got 2 people on him. I'm open. Throw it to me. There's times you could see him. He wasn't going to threaten backside. You know who does that now? I watch young dudes. A lot of young wide receivers do it. That's just telling because they just haven't learned what they need to learn to get to where they need to get to. But the young receiver, the first round pick, McMillan from
Tataroa from Carolina.
Yeah, he's horrible. If you watch that sucker backside, I watched them and I watched all 22 with them. I said, look at this right here. This is terrible. You ain't gonna go block for a guy? I remember, man, Al Saunders used to get so upset. If you go watch any of the films when they were, and this is the greatest show on turf, okay, down there with St. Louis Rams, Kansas City Chiefs, Al Saunders made sure that every single wide receiver ran go routes 100 miles an hour. And in his meeting, he used to say this. He said, wide receivers, tight end, everybody else, he said, we will score 10 more touchdowns if guys get down and just go block somebody if they play full speed. And there was no lie told in that. What I see sometimes is when wide receivers not getting the ball, they pull up. They don't go find work. They don't. It absolutely just runs through me. It absolutely kills me. And I'm just like, look at this dude. You want him to come down here when you fight for your life? So they're going to come in and get an extra hit on me? In my ribs, my kidney? Are you sitting there looking at this? Oh, man. Shoot. Guy don't deserve that. That's your teammate. You go fight for him. That's one of the most selfish acts I ever see in my life when I sit there and you watch somebody do something like that. That's selfish. So I'm not saying this is who our guys are. I'm just saying this, like when you see wide receivers do things like that and don't finish plays and all those different. Hey, you know, I heard that when they say that about James Cook, finishes every single play. Every single play finishes 25 yards down the field. I'm like, yep. Here it is. This guy that wants to be good.
Well, it's good. It's good habits to get into at a young age. I mean, Worthy's in his second year, so I mean, he can still be coached into that habit.
Yeah, great habit. Great habit. Finish. Don't pull up. Finish. Shoot, you'll get a break. We'll put somebody else in.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.